Good morning. This is Dr. McDaniel. I'm a board certified obstetrician gynecologist in New York City, and I'm bringing to you all things health related for women. Thank you for joining me at the corner today. And today I thought it would be a nice idea to share with the YouTube, Facebook, and the podcast community the masterclass that I created in 2019. In 2019, I developed and produced a program. It's called the Hormonal Weight Loss Solution, and the actual subtitle of the program is it's a hormonal manipulation strategy, because that's what I provide for the ladies who worked with me and are still working with me. It's a strategy to manipulate your hormones and to lose weight, and to not only lose weight, but to improve your health and vitality, energy, get rid of fatigue and swelling and bloating, all of the problems that most, not just women, but men also associate with aging and hormonal changes. Those can actually be reversed and or prevented with the program that I created. So I developed a program in 2019, and I also produced a master class to explain and give a lot of strategies that are involved in the program. So I thought it'd be really nice to share that with the audience and the community that I have here at GYN Corner. So the following is the master class that I created 2 years ago. I've updated it a little bit, and if you'd like to work with me to improve your health, lose weight, it's an 8-week program, and during between 6 and 8 weeks, usually around 6 weeks, you will have lost 20 to 25 pounds. By 8 weeks, even 30 pounds. So I hope you enjoy the master class, and take care. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. McDaniel, and this is the Hormonal Weight Loss Solution Masterclass. Now, in today's masterclass, I'll reveal my exact strategy that allowed me to overcome hormonally induced weight gain and to predictably lose 65 pounds of stubborn and persistent fat without counting calories, points, strenuous exercise, popping pills, being hungry, nor feeling deprived and depraved with cravings, essentially all of the undesirable aspects that are inherent in every other single, air quotes, diet you'll encounter. And that's because what I do is different from all other health and dietary weight loss programs. I help women get healthy and permanently shed stubborn excess weight by working from the inside out to decrease inflammation and manipulate hormonal derangements, which are the primary sources of stubborn fat and, more importantly, chronic diseases. And with my help, you can consistently lose at least 20 to 25 pounds in the very first 6 weeks. Now, before I continue, I'd like to request that you please shut down any potential distractions, because what I'm going to share with you will change the way you think about weight gain, weight loss, and how best to achieve and to, more importantly, maintain your ideal weight. So now the eagle's eye view of today's masterclass. First, you'll discover exactly why 32 years old heralds a hormonal apocalypse. I'll debunk the myth that menopause is a natural transition in life and expose just why I affirm that menopause and its prequel years promotes a state of exaggerated weight gain, especially muffin top. Additionally, I'll explain exactly how hormones cause obesity or weight gain. I'll also reveal the 4 essential hormones responsible for weight gain and, more importantly, weight loss. To boot, I'm going to confirm your suspicions and explain just why the medical industry cannot treat hormonal weight gain. And ultimately, I'll share with you a proven 4-step process to lose hormonal weight without, you guessed it, counting calories, counting points, strenuous exercise, popping pills, being hungry, nor feeling deprived and depraved with cravings. Now, I'm assuming you are here because You're over 32 years old, and you've realized that things have started to change. You're wondering why you're getting heavier and you just can't seem to lose the belly, the muffin top, and the thunder thighs. Or perhaps you can't seem to lose that 5, 10, or even 15-year-old baby weight. You're snacking a lot and wondering if you just might be addicted to sugar. Perhaps you're tired of always needing an extra 10 to 15 minutes or more in the morning to try on tops or bottoms or even a dress and figure out what still fits. And maybe you're forever searching for that perfect top that's just loose enough to not show the rolls and bulges, just drapey enough to feel comfortable and easy to move around in. And honestly, isn't it just sad to have a rainbow of clothing sizes in your dressers and closets, ranging from single digits to high double digit sizes, and then you look around in the world at all those clothes and you realize that you have a ton of clothes that you can no longer wear. You're never able to just grab and go, reach into your closet, reach into a dresser, throw on the clothes, run out the door, knowing comfortably and confidently it'll fit. Moreover, have you had a string of diets and weight loss plans that have just let you down? Have really failed you? And perhaps you've just been moaning, why do I have to work so super hard for so little gain? And has it crossed your mind that maybe your stubborn weight problem is actually hindering your life in other ways? Are your loved ones impacted by your not shedding those unwanted pounds? Have you thought about just what you may be missing out on by not shedding your excess weight? Well, think about the answers to those questions and stick with me throughout this masterclass as I share with you a unique solution to transport you from where you are today to where you want to be. Now, over the years, you may have driven yourself absolutely bonkers, going to different doctors and nutritionists, trying to find out just why you've been gaining weight and never able to keep off any weight that you've managed to lose for more than 2 or 3 months. And perhaps you were intuitive enough to insist that your doctor have your hormones checked to see if they were responsible for your excess weight. He or she smiled slightly and asked you 2 or 3 questions about your weight and how you felt and said, sure, we'll check your thyroid, see if it's sluggish. Oh, and we'll also add a diabetes screen, only to have them come back a week or so later and report, good news, you're fine. You just need to eat a little less and get out there and move a lot more. And maybe you've been going nuts, researching the internet and asking begging Dr. Google for an answer and trying to figure out all on your own the confusing alphabet soup of health and hormones to no avail. Well, today I'm going to help you turn that alphabet soup into a clear and concise sentence. So if any of all of these sentiments rings true and it describes your situation and what you want, then you're in the right place. So stick with me throughout this masterclass for a unique solution to transport you from where you are today to where you want to be. And please know that if you're frustrated and feeling down in the dumps because you've been unable to crack the weight loss code and decipher the effects of hormones on energy, metabolism, appetite, cravings, and the whole shebang, it's not your fault. The reality is that most doctors haven't even figured it out. Frankly, your local GP or family doctor, or even gynecologist, is often overworked and thus years behind the current research. But over the last 5 years or so, I can humbly say that I have uncovered the answers to all of those questions I previously posed to you, and today I'll be sharing with you just what I've learned. Now, we've all heard that knowledge is power, but I'd like to add that without action, it's impotent. It's only potential power. So today I'll provide you with both knowledge and I'll share with you 4 specific actionable steps you can start implementing today to improve your health and help you start losing weight. Tomorrow, you can take action. I'd also encourage you not to skip out early, but to stick with me throughout this masterclass. Since I have a gift for you. Yes, at the end of this masterclass, I have a gift, or really an opportunity for you that will help you get your desired results even faster. Now, as I stated earlier, for the last few years of my career, I've been helping women with weight loss resistance and hormonal weight gain discover that the key is not calories, it's hormones, and with that knowledge, to successfully reach their weight loss goals. They've been able to do this without, you guessed it, counting calories, counting points, excessive exercise, being hungry, feeling desperate, depraved, and deprived with cravings. Now, the only reason I can share this with you is because I've been through this. The good, the bad, and most definitely the ugly, both personally and also with my patients. Now, who am I? I'm Dr. McDaniel. I'll properly introduce myself. I'm a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist in New York City, and I've been in private practice here since 1993. I trained at both Bellevue Hospital and New York University Hospital, and since 1997, I've been an assistant clinical professor in the OBGYN department at NYU Medical Center. And last but certainly not least, I'm married and the mother of 4 lovely children. Now, from the beginning of my medical career as a gynecologist, I followed the standard of care, and that was whenever a patient under 50 years old complained of any of the usual hormonal suspects, irritability, anxiety, insomnia, libido issues, it ended about 85% of the time with muffin top and weight gain. I'd prescribe birth control pills with the caveat, oh yeah, the birth control pills will help everything except the muffin top, the weight gain. Weight gain is not hormonal. And same story. If she was over 50 years old with the usual list of hormonal suspects, it often, oh, I'm not going to say always, often ended with muffin top weight gain. At the end, maybe about, again, 80-85% of the time, I'd prescribe hormone replacement with the same caveat. It's going to help all of your hormonal issues, but unfortunately, weight gain is not hormonal, so it's not going to help your weight issue. Well, over the last 5 years or so, I started to seriously assess and review this list of hormonal suspects. I started to ask myself, should weight gain and muffin top, should that actually be on the hormonal list? Could it really be a hormonal problem if someone's overweight? Well, I thought about that, and I realized that I did not have a confident answer for that question because nothing in my medical training had prepared me to come to a solid, educated conclusion about weight gain and is it truly hormonal. And that realization really brought home to me the fact that as medical doctors, we are not trained to counsel women about nutrition and weight gain or weight loss, weight management. Now, medical school, which is the foundation of our entire medical information for the rest of our careers, we get less than 3 hours. Obstetrics and gynecology residency, we got 0 hours of nutritional information or weight management. And we're the specialists. We're the supreme upper echelon. This is the best you can get as far as women's health care, women's health, hormonal issues. Whenever any other doctor has a question or a patient in need of has hormonal derangement or needs hormonal advice, they send them to us, gynecologists, and we don't have any medical training for nutrition health at all. It's just based on whatever we personally find out on our own. So I started questioning my own situation to figure out just why I had a weight problem. It really did not make sense throughout my entire life, childhood, teens, 20s, and even my early 30s. I easily maintained totally normal weight. I was always between 120 and 130 pounds. Yes, until I got married and pregnant the same year at 36 years old. And over the ensuing 5 years, I had 5 pregnancies. Yes, I had one baby after the other because I started at 36. I finished at almost 42 years old with that last baby, and I had gained almost 60 pounds, about 60 to 65 pounds with the first baby, 20 with the additional 3, 15 to 20 with the additional 3. So just packed on fast and furious, one after the other, with the weight never dropping, only climbing up the hill. So 5 years, 5 pregnancies, I had 1 miscarriage, 4 children. By the end of this journey saga, I was over 100 pounds heavier than before the babies. And it's not really obvious in this picture because I'm posturing a little bit in this picture. I got the baby covering me, I have my arms held out, but you'll see it in the next picture. Next 2 pictures. Yes, the cameo really speaks volumes. I'm hiding behind people in the one on the left, but you can see my shoulders are so broad, my face is so chubby, and the cameo on the right is the pitiful one where you can just see the girth and the back, and it's really, really unfortunate because in that picture I was almost 300 pounds. I was around 250 in that picture. In fact, despite nursing that last baby for 13 months, yes, I nursed her full time for 13 months, I actually gained more weight. I gained additional weight after the last baby. Nursing was supposed to help me lose weight. I didn't lose any weight while I was nursing. I gained weight. And on top of that, to add fuel to the fire, that last baby, I started having additional issues. Yes, the last baby essentially catapulted me into a hormonal hell. Right, I entered bizarro world. It started for me the day of the last delivery with the swollen lip, and then before I left, my tongue swelled up, but only half of it. And from then on, month in and month out, I experienced crazy, crazy symptoms with weird patches and dry rashes on my legs and torso. I thought maybe I had psoriasis. I also had scattered hives throughout the month in and month out. I thought maybe I had uh, lupus or something. And the worst of all was the red, hot, swollen, puffy eyes. Almost every month or every other month, my eyes would be palpably blazing hot, swollen, and puffy. I had an Uncle Fester look, and it was really embarrassing. It was so embarrassing that I wore sunglasses to the office several times because I looked like I had done maybe 3 seconds in the ring with Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali. And yes, I'd seen numerous specialists, the full, $1 million workup, the American way to get bloods and tests, and none of the specialists I'd seen could figure out exactly what was going on with me. Well, I got a diagnosis, not from the doctors, but from my parents. My parents were watching Mystery Diagnosis, a show that came on television. It was around 2 in the morning because they were night owls. And the first thing the lady said when the show came up was her eyes would get red, hot, and puffy. And my dad called me the next day and said, "Honey, we know exactly what you have. You have a rare autoimmune disorder. It's called autoimmune progesterone dermatitis." And sure enough, when I checked it out and spoke with the allergist, he said, "Oh, yeah, that's exactly what you have. There's less than 2,000 reports in the world's literature, so it's very rare." Well, in light of this new hormonal problem, I started thinking about things again. That maybe the excess weight, which blew up at the same time as everything else during all of my pregnancies, maybe it was actually hormonal and it wasn't just what I was secretly thinking was just a cop out. Oh, it's just a cop out. You want to blame your hormones on gaining all this weight. But maybe I was on the right track. It started to dawn on me that the medical establishment and we as physicians have tunnel vision when it comes to weight, and we continue to incorrectly advise women. We advise women that hormonal obesity can only be due to one of 2 things, either a sluggish or an underactive thyroid, or that you might be developing diabetes. And this held back to the age-old belief, it's over 150 years old, that a calorie in equals a calorie out. What you take in, if you burn out more than what you take in, you'll lose weight. However, it's been well established in the scientific community, and we've known it for a long time that 80% of weight loss or weight gain is dietary. It's what you eat. It's not how much you exercise or if you're sedentary. So that's 80-20, not 50-50. Yes, that gives us the old adage that you can't out exercise a bad diet and you can't outrun your fork. I contend that 80% of that weight loss resistance and weight gain is really hormonal. Case in point, and I think everyone is aware that men naturally have a lower body fat percentage than women, and we accept that fact without really inspecting the implications of it. We just take it for granted without even questioning it that the reality is men and women have different body compositions due to their hormones. Men naturally have less fat, women naturally have more fat. We all know that it's science. Testosterone increases muscle, decreases fat, and estrogen increases fat deposition. That's why women are curvy, men are not. Scientifically, we know that boys and girls start to diverge hormonally speaking at roughly 6 years old. Testosterone increases metabolism and estrogen slows it down. That's why it's masculine for men to be hard, sleek, very little body fat, and the feminine look soft, curvy, even when you're slim with that cushiony, pillowy body fat smoothing out all the angles. And just to drive things home, think about what your mind conjures with each of these descriptions. Body weight, mommy jeans, matronly. Which picture in these panels looks like someone's calling them mommy? Who has kids? Who looks mature, like they're in their 30s to 40s, versus who looks like they're a teenager or in their early 20s? And ask yourself why you're attributing those labels to each picture. Well, after years of my experiences, not just mine, but the patients also, I really asked myself again, since all of my problems were hormonal, was the excess weight also hormonal? Well, a few years ago, I was feeling really, really frumpy. I was disgusted and demoralized and just really disappointed with myself. How could I have gotten to 250 pounds? Was it really just a reflection of my having zero willpower, overeating, just making a whole bunch of poor food choices, and not able to deal with diets that had me count calories or points, and not being able to cut out foods despite signing up gyms just every January I sign up and every March I just drop out? Was it really just me, or was there really a hormonal problem? I thought, am I just coming up with a cop out? Oh, it's not me, it's my hormones. It's just a cop out because I don't want to buck up and do what I have to do. Well, I started to think about it. And again, it just did not make sense. There are no coincidences. The only difference between my 34-year-old self and my 42-year-old self was that I had pregnancies in between. And after that baby, that picture in the red, I gained an additional 20 pounds even while I was breastfeeding her. I was nursing for 13 months and I got up to 265 pounds, so almost 300 pounds. What happened? Because I really did not feel like there should have been such a huge difference. And so I started really trying to figure out the answer to that question. Can hormones play a part? So I just committed myself. I had to do a deep dive. I thought to myself, I'm a doctor. I should be able to sort this out with medical research and know-how and figure out the answer to this question. And I made some startling discoveries. In fact, I'm going to share 3 of those discoveries, 3 main factors responsible for hormonal weight gain. Yes, hormonal weight gain with you now. Discovery number 1 is that there's a hormonal shift that occurs after 32 years old, and that's responsible for decreasing our metabolism. It's a scientific fact that after 32 years old, a lot of hormonal shifts occur. Fertility slowly starts to decrease after 32 years old. Bone strength bone density slowly starts to decrease after 32 years old. Autoimmune diseases, which are already more prevalent in women, slowly start to increase after 32 to 35 years old. 73% of women over 35 years old suffer from joint pain. Muscle strength starts to decline after 30 years old, and we begin to lose as much as 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. And yes, our metabolism definitely starts to decrease after 32 to 35 years old. This is due to 6 primary hormones. All of these hormones slowly start to shift after 35, and they contribute to decreased metabolism, which kicks off and supports weight gain or an increase in fat stores. Those hormones: estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, human growth hormone, dehydroepiandrosterone, known as DHEAS, and, surprisingly, melatonin. And that's why improving sleep quality and uninterrupted sleep for at least 8 hours or more is associated with weight loss. It's because melatonin helps regulate another hormone, insulin, and it's anti-inflammatory, and it helps to increase fat burning by increasing brown fat instead of white fat. So science has definitely confirmed all of the above, but do we hear about it? No, we don't. So now you see why I said 32 years old heralds a hormonal apocalypse. Discovery number 2, it's that menopause and its prequel years after 32 years old are diseases. That's right, menopause is a disease. It's not a natural transition in life. With life expectancy at less than 25 years old in the 1600s, rising to late 40 years old by the early 1900s, and nowadays in the US, 81 years old is life expectancy, it's obvious that it's been artificially lengthened. So historically, the overwhelming majority of women never lived long enough to get to the age of being able to go through menopause. And menopause is not alone. Most diseases as we get older are inflammatory. Heart attacks, strokes, cataracts, diabetes, Alzheimer's, even certain cancers, you name it, the majority of diseases are inflammatory in their origin. In fact, research supports that inflammation looks to be the source of all chronic diseases. In fact, they're calling it a unifying theory of disease, that inflammation is basically the crux of all diseases known to man. Research has further supported that as we age, and especially as we approach menopause, inflammatory problems increase. So Mother Nature did not expect women to live beyond our procreative years. Once we passed the teens and the 20s, where we were supposed to be able to safely procreate without a hitch, basically, we were supposed to die off. But because of human ingenuity, we've been able to extend our lifespan to reach a time of menopause, and all of those years of aging have supported inflammatory diseases and inflammatory consequences of living so long. And that's why I said there's a ticking time bomb that our hormones ignite at 32 years old, pretty much explodes at menopause. That ticking time bomb is inflammation. Inflammation is the linchpin joining age and our diseases. So inflammation and hormonal shifts, they're at the core of every single item on this list of hormonal usual suspects. Now, I demonstrated to you earlier that there's a shift in hormones starting as early as childhood, but really taking off after the age of 32 years old. Furthermore, I've proven to you that there's a surge in inflammation as we age, and that this inflammatory progression is responsible for the bulk of the diseases of modern society. Now I'll show you just how these two elements essentially create the perfect storm of hormonally induced weight gain and obesity through this third discovery. That increased weight gain is an interplay of hormones and inflammation. This means that calories don't count as much. Yes, weight gain and weight loss, all of the old beliefs that calories in, calories out, a calorie is a calorie. If you just decrease your calories and increase your exercise, you'll lose weight. It's not true because I contend that some calories are more fattening than other calories. Think about it. If you eat 500 calories of ice cream every day versus 500 calories of spinach, do you think you'll gain equal amounts of weight? Well, what about 1,000 calories of apple pie versus 1,000 calories of apples? And how about 5,000 calories of carrots and cucumbers versus 5,000 calories of cakes and cookies eaten every day? Would your weight gain or weight management be the same? So I ask again, are all calories created equally? Of course not. Put another way, are all calories equally likely to cause weight gain, fat deposition, or weight loss? Of course not. And that's why I affirm that weight gain and or weight loss is really dependent upon our hormonal response to food. Yes, depending on the foods we take, regardless of whether or not they are exactly the same amount of calories, our bodies will respond differently to them, and we will either gain or lose weight based on the food that we're eating, not the calories that we're taking in. Yes, our hormones are running the show. These are the key hormones responsible for dictating how our bodies respond to cookies versus broccoli. I know it's a busy screen, but look, it's more than just checking thyroid, checking diabetes. We have leptin, ghrelin, thyroid, insulin, testosterone, growth hormone, estrogen, and cortisol. Now, since around 1994, not too long ago, but still around 30 years or so, leptin was discovered, and research has been building up to support the premise that hormones control how efficiently a calorie is used. This means that some calories are more fattening than other calories. The primary combination that leads to weight gain is inflammation, as I stated previously, that's represented by CRP, and resistance to leptin. So leptin, along with inflammation, is one pathway for weight gain, and the second major combination is insulin and inflammation, which is represented by cortisol. So insulin and inflammation, these are the dynamic duos of weight gain. It's well known that stress, emotional or physical, can induce inflammatory responses, along with carbohydrates, high protein intake, triglycerides, cortisol, and estrogen dominance, seen as what occurs during pregnancy. They all induce inflammatory responses, and this chronic inflammation has been shown to inhibit leptin activity by causing leptin resistance, and that acts on the brain to produce obesity. Tons of research has confirmed that inflammation, measured by what we call inflammatory markers such as CRP, increases resistance to leptin. This leptin resistance in turn causes weight gain and obesity because you're constantly hungry, consequently eating and snacking frequently. Increased triglycerides, which are always due to increased carbohydrate intake and high protein intake, they both increase resistance to leptin and insulin, both increasing hunger and fat deposit or weight gain, which again makes you constantly hungry, consequently eating and snacking frequently. Another major hormonal source of weight gain or obesity is due to insulin resistance. So, similar characters: carbohydrates, high protein intake, triglycerides, cortisol or chronic stress, and estrogen fluctuations, which occur when we breastfeed or lactation, if you have PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome, menopause, and yes, birth control pills can all act to increase insulin resistance, which subsequently causes weight gain or obesity. Further research confirms that cortisol, another inflammatory agent, likewise increases insulin resistance and weight gain, especially belly fat or muffin top. And to make matters worse, it appears for reasons yet unknown that it's easier for women to develop insulin resistance. At both ends of the pendulum, estrogen dominance, which occurs after 32 years old or during pregnancy, also if you're already overweight because fat cells produce estrogen all on their own. On the opposite end is estrogen withdrawal, which classically occurs during menopause, but also occurs when you're breastfeeding. They all lead down the same pathway, weight gain through leptin resistance or insulin resistance, or for a lot of us, both. Estrogen definitely supports that. There's estrogen signaling in metabolic inflammation. As mentioned earlier, after 32 years old, there's a progressive steady decline in major hormones which affect weight gain and weight loss through decreasing our metabolism, decreasing our muscle mass, which also causes or abets decreased metabolism, and also by causing leptin resistance. So the drop in growth hormone, testosterone, melatonin, they all lead down the same pathway. And to add insult to injury, research confirms that fat increases fat. Specifically, fat cells, known as adipocytes, produce a smoldering, persistent inflammation and affect metabolism throughout our bodies, contributing to the cause of insulin resistance and further weight gain. So fat increases fat by causing chronic inflammation in and of itself, but it also increases fat because it produces estrogen, and that increases the ability for us to have that estrogen dominance, which also causes leptin resistance and insulin resistance and further weight gain. There are a ton of hormones which drive our appetite and response to the foods we consume. And the four primary hormones are estrogen, cortisol, insulin, and leptin. Cortisol and insulin are predominantly responsible for the midriff bulge or muffin top, while estrogen and leptin are predominantly responsible for the pear-shaped and just general obesity. Essentially, weight gain is due to a domino effect of hormones, appetite, eating behavior, and ultimately fat storage and weight gain. So the old adage that we have to lose weight to get healthy is inaccurate. It's the other way around because in truth, once we change our diet to improve our health, improve how efficiently and correctly our intestines absorb these nutrients, our livers process them, and our body's hormones correctly respond to our nutritional intake, it's at that point that we can effectively lose weight and maintain a healthy weight once and for all. So the key to losing weight is hormonal because we have to get healthy to lose weight. So now it's really obvious that birth control pills, hormone replacement, weight loss pills, weight loss surgery, all of those are just manipulating the end product. They're doing absolutely nothing to treat the root of the problem, the root source, which is why I stated that the medical establishment cannot treat hormonal weight gain, weight loss issues. They can't treat weight management effectively. I mean, it's really obvious when you just look at the state of today's nutrition and health and weight management recommendations. We've really been fed a lie. For decades, we've been told that low-fat, whole grain, multigrains, organic labels, the food pyramid, and the like, that all of this will lead us to the promised land of weight loss and good health. And that's simply not true. All it's done is bring down everyone's morale, confidence, have us running on a hamster, what are those, little hamster wheel of trying to do all of the right things, all of the things that they're telling us to do because they're the experts, and we're getting nowhere. So, despite supporting the standard operating procedures and towing the party line for the first 25 years of my medical career, I began a journey out of desperation of research, trial, and error. And I used my 12 years of medical training, almost 30 years of medical experience, and over the almost 5 years, I put all of that to work to develop a hormonal manipulation strategy. And after 8 months, I was a happy camper because I lost 60 pounds in just 8 months. But more importantly, I'm happy to state that over the last 4.5 years, I've been able to not only keep it off, but continue to lose even more weight, which surprisingly is no small feat because research evidences that approximately 80% of people who lose 10% or more of their body weight will unfortunately regain it within 3 years. And I'm at almost 5 years, and it really hasn't been difficult at all. There's actually a ton of research that proves that when people lose weight, half of it is regained within 2 years and 85% within 5. Some studies have actually shown that 97% of dieters, even those who undergo weight loss surgery, regain all of their lost weight within 3 years. So with all of that in mind, I realized that if I really wanted to help women get the results I'd attained and help them to manage to create a lifestyle and livable habits to continue on a successful path to not only lose the weight, but keep it off, I'd need more time, more in-depth conversations, and essentially a personalized program to commit the time and devotion that's necessary for success. I realize that if you're in the same helpless boat I was in almost 5 years ago, that with this strategy, you too can find success. And the key to your success? It's my 4-step formula. So step number 1 is we eliminate inflammatory and toxic foods in your diet and incorporate anti-inflammatory foods and habits. And as we now know, that's because inflammation sparks a hormonal imbalance cascade that leads to weight gain. So step number 1 is elimination and detoxification. Now, I promised actionable tips today. So hack number 1 for this first step in the hormonal manipulation strategy is MCT oil. Now, MCT or medium chain triglycerides, the MCT oil is an antioxidant and it helps to promote weight loss by decreasing the hunger hormone, increasing your satiety, and also improving the gut environment. So if you have 1 teaspoon in a cup of tea or coffee every morning, that will help to decrease inflammation and to help detoxify the body. Now, step number 2, we focus on gut healing and repopulating the intestinal environment. Why? Because as Hippocrates said over 2,000 years ago, all disease begins in the gut. Likewise, it seems reasonable that all healing must also begin with the gut. And the gut is the hub of hunger and satiety hormones. Now, the gut contains hundreds of what we call friendly bacteria, which actually promote weight loss. Research supports that gut bacteria is very important in weight gain and weight loss. Now, in addition to helping our metabolism and decreasing hunger through the hormonal and protein satiety and feedback mechanism in our body, the gut bacteria are also important in our cravings. So remember earlier I said that is it just a cop out to think that your hormones is why you're making poor food choices and you just don't have a lack, you just have a lack of willpower, you're just not strong enough? Well, it's actually not true. The gut bacteria drive our cravings. There's a gut brain connection. And the science and the research supposes, or they theorize that it's through the vagus nerve, which leads from the gut to the brain. And the bacteria in our intestines, especially specifically the colon, the large intestine, it actually drives our cravings. So when we feed certain bacteria, those bacteria hyperpopulate, and they drive our brain to seek out certain types of foods, either sugary, bread, heavy laden, fattening foods, or more vegetables, dark green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, foods that are better for our bacteria. It can also drive cravings to keep promoting what can be a cycle of food that's better for that bacteria. They basically are self-serving. So step number 2, I call it heal and rebuild. Now, hack number 2, which is important for healing and rebuilding, is resistant starch. Now, starchy foods are carbohydrates, and they usually get quickly digested and spike our blood sugar levels in our body. However, resistant starches resist digestion, and they get all the way down to the large colon, so they act like fiber. And in so doing, they feed the good bacteria in our intestines and our colon, and they're not broken down to sugars quickly, and they're actually better for our health because they help improve the good bacteria ratio in our bodies, and they promote, obviously, really good health benefits which support weight loss. Research supports it. Resistant starches in our diet support weight loss, and on top of that, help suppress the hormone leptin. So I always recommend overnight oats. It's a really easy and tasty resistant starch. Now, step number 3 is fat burning and rejuvenation. In this step, we introduce specific natural whole foods and supplements. We decrease inflammatory foods, continue to increase anti-inflammatory foods. We decrease production of triglycerides and introduce meditative physical activity, dietary and behavioral strategies to support hormonal balance for weight loss. Now, when you think about it, it's been proven over and over again that food really can be our medicine. We know through history plants and herbs have been used to treat illnesses. Ginger root for nausea, aspirin or willow tree bark, mold is what we have penicillin for, clove oil for dry socket after you have a wisdom tooth pulled, apple cider vinegar for gastritis, and the list goes on and on. So the third step is where we manipulate food and behavior to be our medicine to treat obesity. Hack number 3 is sleep. Yeah, it sounds simple, but study upon study is proving that we need at least 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep every night in order to lose weight. Research confirms that sleep, when you're not getting enough, increases the hunger hormone ghrelin, decreases the satiety hormone leptin, and when you get enough sleep, which is that 7.5 to 8.5 hours, it increases the satiety hormone. It increases the satiety hormone leptin, and it decreases the hunger hormone ghrelin. So you can take two people with the same dietary habits, and the one who's getting enough sleep will lose weight, and the one who's not getting enough sleep will gain weight. In fact, it's further been proven that cortisol levels are higher in sleep-deprived individuals, and insulin resistance is higher after 4 or more nights of decreased sleep. Additionally, research has proven it's more than 2 times harder to lose weight without proper sleep, all things being even. So the goal is to strive for 7 to 9 hours of nightly sleep. Last but not least is step number 4, and that's intentional movement and active integration. The nervous system can actually be trained to minimize its response to inflammatory triggers. We practice biofeedback techniques to control the nervous system response to hormonal and inflammatory stimuli. Yogis in India have been doing it for millennia. It's been documented that they can control their nervous and circulatory system to the point where they can even stop their heartbeat briefly. Now, we won't be practicing anything as drastic as trying to stop our heartbeats, but it has been proven that certain breathing techniques can decrease can decrease stress chemicals in the brain and allow for improved relaxation. So the key to your success is this 4-step formula: elimination and detoxification, heal and rebuild, fat burn and rejuvenation, intentional movement, and active integration. And yes, hack number 4 is walking. Research supports that just walking, even 15 minutes after a meal, will significantly decrease blood sugar and insulin spikes, and subsequently, that will decrease and prevent weight gain. So I recommend just striving to walk 15 minutes 2 to 3 times a day, preferably after a meal. So there you have it. Now you know that hormonal weight gain does exist and that you can naturally eliminate it. And I trust that all of the information I've provided for you so far has been eye-opening and beneficial. However, I'd like to point out that a lot of women often focus on getting information, and they actually think that information in and of itself is the missing link to reach their goals. But in reality, information is just information, and there's tons of free information in the world. In fact, we live in a society with information overload. I mean, just look around. There's YouTube, Wikipedia, and let's not forget Google. The truth is, information alone does not change lives. Well, if it did, we'd all be living in Googletopia. Happy, healthy, slim and fit, and we'd have absolutely everything we wanted. But we don't. In reality, most of us don't take action on information alone. We take action when we have support and guidance with a proven pathway and personal mentorship. And taking action on that information is the first step towards what we really want. And what we really want isn't just information. What we want is transformation. Now, I'm sure you don't just want to hear it from me, so please take a moment and listen to a few of the ladies who have joined the program.
I expected to lose a couple pounds. Normally when you go on any type of diet or lifestyle change, you lose a big amount, maybe the first week or second week, depending on what you had to change. And then it's like, a pound, half a pound, whatever, in the coming weeks. To step on the scale and know that I lost 30 pounds, like that has exceeded my expectations. We started I'm in week 6 now. But I did have an appointment this morning and my blood pressure has started to come down. Before I joined the program, I was, I had some health issues going on that were weight related. I was very sluggish and tired and, didn't want to move, didn't want to get up. I spent my weekends sleeping, trying to catch up on sleep, and I was just always tired. And then since being on the program, I got a lot more energy. I can keep up with some kids, not all, some. 20, 16, 9, 5, 3, and 19 months.
And if you want to do it, this is the easiest program to do it with. I've done Jenny Craig and Nutrisystem and all that processed food. But when I got off the processed food, the weight would come back. But this is giving me a new perspective on, maybe I do want to have a steak and a potato, but that's fine. I don't have to, berate myself and say, oh my gosh, you're headed back that way. Just say, okay, just adjust as you go. October, I've lost 30 pounds. It's like, and I haven't, I haven't been, how do they say, I haven't been faithful all the time, but I'm still losing. I've basically changed my diet and I'm melting away consistently. It's not stressful at all. It's almost too easy to do. And then if I'm having a meal, I just have a meal. I still, can have dark chocolate. I still can have wine. So I'm basically eating everything that I usually have. It's not that much different. It's just being packaged differently. It's just being presented differently. I feel better. My gut feels better. I'm not irritable. I think this has just been effortless. It really has. It's just it's just effortless. It really is. It's like you said, it's the combinations that are working for me. And it really took me to get to 30 pounds to say, oh, you're losing weight. And I am feeling better. My clothes are looser. I'm ready to start going down to the next size. I don't even need to go buy anything. Everything I need, I have here. I've got pants. I may need some shirts, but I'm like, all the clothes I have, I need here. I want to, once I go down to a size 16, start wearing everything, because I am not going to buy that again. And then I'll get to the 14s, and then I'll get to the 12s, and we'll see where I end.
So I'm a registered nurse. I spent 20 years in the military. I was a trauma critical care nurse. Also worked in the civilian side as a critical care nurse. And so was very active, kayaking, boating, hiking, skiing, anything to be outdoors. Gardening is my passion. All of those type of activities. And those were the things that I couldn't do anymore. I had never had a weight problem. I was one of these lucky people who could eat whatever she wanted, do whatever she wanted, and it never was a problem until my mid-30s. Then I got to my 40s, and it seemed like I just continued to gain weight. I went to my own provider, and his answer was, it's abnormal weight gain, so we'll give you a pill. Well, it kind of helped, but again, you stop taking the pills, and then it was like doubled again. So I tried Noom, I tried Golo, I did Weight Watchers, I tried watching what I tried making sure I had 3 meals a day, I tried no snacks, I tried grazing, I tried all the different things, nothing worked, and I got bigger and bigger. And then I turned in October on my 62nd birthday, I weighed 194 pounds, and I said, I something's got to give. I can't, this is just, I felt awful. I hadn't been sleeping good, and I just didn't like myself, and I was miserable all the time. And I was always looking to see if there was something out there. And I have a medical background, so I knew it had to do with my hormones, but I couldn't find anybody who agreed with me. And yet I'm like, I know this is my hormones, but I don't know how to fix it. I'm working with a provider, a doctor who understands women, who herself has validated the program personally. But the biggest thing is that somebody who understands that hormonal weight gain, women have hormonal weight gain. It is not in our head. It's not made up. We're not crazy. It really happens. I see my family, my mom's side of the family, I see them as they get older, everybody, and they all say, oh, yep, you'll get there too. I feel better, look better. And it's about me. For any other reason, I just want to be me again. I have more energy. I can work out in my garden and I'm not exhausted anymore. I did 2 days washing windows and working out, and I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to do that last summer. And then that was depression, and that has gotten better too. I never felt like I couldn't eat or I was hungry. That was not something I went over. I did know, like, in my first month, my husband and I had planned a cruise, and I was concerned that I was going to feel restricted and not, but I didn't feel restricted at all. I'm 62. I have 4 adult children and 8 grandchildren. And in fact, I've lost, 31 pounds.
Hello, my name is Cecilia. I'm here to give a testimonial about Dr. McDaniel's Hormonal Manipulation Strategy. I started the program about 6 months ago, and I have to say I have not had any regrets since I started. Prior to starting the program, I used to have like severe bloating. I had major digestive issues. I'd used all kinds of supplements on the market, all kinds of probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics, fiber laxatives. I'd gone to a GI doctor and done a colonoscopy just to make sure I did not have any kind of major colon issues. And I was just searching for answers, major answers, because I was feeling very unwell. And one day I saw a webinar I saw something on my feed about a webinar from Dr. McDaniels, and I'm like, oh wow, I do know her. She's my gynecologist. I wonder what she has to say. So I registered for the webinar. I listened to what she had to say. I registered for the program. I joined the program, and it's been really great. Since I started the program, I have lost about 25 pounds and change. I think maybe a little bit more. I have, as of today, no bloating whatsoever. My gut health is perfect. I'm no longer lethargic. I used to be tired all the time. Now I do a lot of walking, several miles a week, and my sleep has improved greatly since then. As you can see, my skin has also cleared out. My skin looks really good now. I have no makeup on as I'm speaking. So I would like to thank Dr. McDaniels for the program. He taught me a lot about nutrition. I had a major paradigm shift about what I was thought to be healthy foods versus things that were considered unhealthy. How my nutrition to get to be at the optimal level, so that I could get proper nutrition from what I ate and what I choose to eat. The program has taught me the choices that I make, and it's been really great. It was a paradigm shift about what I had been taught about nutrition. So I'm very grateful for this program. Thank you, Dr. McDaniels. I'm happy I stuck through it. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, my name is Tricia. I'm 66 years old, and I've been with Dr. McDaniel on her hormone therapy weight loss for a little over 8 weeks now. And to date, I have dropped 28.5 pounds. It's a very easy program to follow. We have good choices on there on our grid for what we could have. And the thing that I've noticed is more energy. I sleep well. When I'm walking, there's a pep to my step, and after I've crested a hill, it's like, oh, you already did that. So there are a lot of pluses, from your skin to getting in clothing and things that you haven't worn in a while, and it fits better. You can see the transformation, and people are noticing it as well. It's really not hard to follow it. And if you stick with the program, you'll see results. So if you're considering this at all, please think about it. Don't think too long or too hard, or you miss out. Again, I'm Tricia. I'm 66 and recently retired. Whoop whoop! And so that is another good thing as well.
I started gaining weight the end of 2019. I had changed jobs. So I was nervous eating. Yeah, I was a size 22, whatever size 22 means. Yeah, because up until this year, I had never owned a scale, but it would come in the form of, you're beautiful at any size, or you don't have to do, you know what I'm saying? I got that a lot, where I think their disbelief and they not buying into I could really lose the weight, or not that I could lose the weight, or you really should lose the weight. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't want to say that. Oh, but you don't have to lose the weight. You're gorgeous, whatever size. Or girl, don't worry with them. Or you have this type of, you have the skewed definition of body shaming. When I was like in a haze. I was feeling all daisy. Like I didn't know. Like it was like The Walking Dead, right? Like
I'll have a lot of joint pain, that I would have. And then because I was gaining the weight, my shoes were, and I saw it up, my shoes were, I would put it on, but then in the night, like when I would come home, my feet would be swollen in certain areas because I was just putting on all the weight. And I took a trip to Wisconsin last year, and I was very winded walking through the airport. And you know, as New Yorkers, we walk through like everything fast. We're just zooming. Yeah. I was extremely winded. It hurt walking through the airport. The bloating has just been insane, right? And I saw the card and I was like, I gotta do something. I didn't think that I would have actually lost 50 pounds because by then, like earlier this year, 50 pounds looked really far. Didn't think I was gonna lose 50. I think it's so crazy. And you said it, you was like, okay, so like, you know, 235, 220, 185 is really not that far. And I was like, yo, and I lost 54 pounds. That's crazy to me. I didn't think that I was gonna have, I wasn't bloated anymore, number one. Sometimes I'd be thinking I have too much energy. But my thought process too dark. Sometimes it's just, and even like some of the affirmations and the books and stuff, and even in the videos, certain things that she would say and you would recommend, I'm just like, yeah, that's really, I really need to get my life. Yeah, so that also helped with thinking. So the bloating, the thinking, the accountability, the weekly check-ins, even when you were like, okay, so you need to take a picture and send me the scale. I was like, oh my God, but the accountability of it all, yeah. It was good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's been good for me.
Before I joined the program, I was feeling really concerned and also very disappointed in the way that I had not addressed my health. I had just kind of let it go. Like I knew I had 20 pounds to lose, then it turned out into 40, then to 60, and now I have 100 pounds to lose. So it's like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Why have I done this to myself? I did get sick, so I was looking for answers and, you know, what can I do? Questions, what would have caused this cancer and all of that. And he said, well, mainly the main reason is your weight. You know, when you're obese, these things could happen. That was kind of like an eye-opening experience, and you know, not a good thing to hear, right? Like you always think what caused it, but you don't think you caused it. My main concern was my health, my future. I do not want to I don't want this to be my story that I had cancer. I was overweight. I got cancer and I remained overweight, or I gained even more weight. And also I didn't want to continue to give my daughter a bad example. I wanted to have some answers and kind of teach her some things she could do. It was important because I felt like I didn't have any control before. I felt like for the last 5 years, maybe, I have been gaining weight up, but you know, it has just continued to go up and up. And I had not been able to see the scale go down at all. And I was afraid that it would just continue to be an escalating situation. At first, I was a little, you know, concerned that I wouldn't be able to do it. There were changes I had to do, and you know, I wouldn't be able to eat what I wanted and things like that. But as things progressed, I was able to see that, yeah, I could do it. It kind of became easy, and I'm not hungry, you know, and my mind is clear, so I could do really good work in the day and not worry about whether I'm hungry or tired or anything like that. I have energy, and I just started working again after 7 weeks of medical leave. Yes, I think in about 3.5 weeks, I had lost 16 pounds, I think. And not only that, but like going up the stairs was something that I avoided during the day. If I was at home, I would just go downstairs and try not to go upstairs because I was just tired. Excuse me. But now I don't even think about it. I just go up and down the stairs anytime I want to, and I have like this energy. Also, my mind was very foggy, and that kind of cleared up. After the surgery, it kind of came back, but I think it was all the surgery and all of that. But I started back on the program last week, and I feel like my mind is pretty much back.
In the beginning, I'm just going to be honest with you, I didn't believe I was going to be able to accomplish the goals. I've been on a lot of different diets throughout my life because I've been battling my weight since probably teenage years. So I was really surprised that I lost the weight as quickly as I did. And that was really, really surprising to me. So I guess my main recommendation would be to follow the grid.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're gonna be successful. So I was sharing with my girlfriend what I was doing because everyone's now they're starting to see, they're like, you're losing weight. See, I used to be a triple D bra size, and now I'm a double D. I was really surprised at how fast you could drop weight if you eat a certain way. To drop 2 or 3 pounds in a week, it's really amazing, and a motivator. I would highly recommend the program, definitely, especially if you have medical issues and you need to lose the weight. I mean, it's definitely the way to go. If they follow the directions, then they're going to see positive results. I've had that conversation with a girlfriend of mine. She's obese, quite frankly. She's in the 300s. And she wanted to know from me, like my friends are starting to notice that I, have come down. And so she wanted to know what was I doing? And, and I told her about, the diet, and she wanted to know the cost. And I told her, and then she said, oh, that's too much. So I said to her, I said, well, aren't you worth it though? Aren't you worth this money? And if you're serious, you're going to see results. So, but what she's planning on doing is going and having the surgery, which, I have a friend who had the surgery too, and she lost a lot of weight, but then she gained it back, which is so dangerous. I had leaky gut and, was having some severe digestive problems. And my gastro doctor could not figure out. I mean, I've had all kinds of tests. They tested me for Crohn's disease. I swallowed this camera, and I did all of that stuff. And so I gotta tell you, I don't have the problems that I have been having before with I had diarrhea, terrible. So I don't have that right now. Haven't had it in a few weeks.
Right.
And so I'm feeling I have a lot of energy. I sleep well. I'm doing so much better that I feel a lot better. I'm breathing a lot better. Told me I probably would never get off of the medication. So 6 years, I haven't been on 3 for that long. I was on 2 for 6 years. And then she added Jardiance. It was the first one I dropped. And then the other 2, metformin and glyburide, I was taking that twice a day. I just take it once now.
Yeah.
Because I have some significant health issues. I think I told you I've had a double hip replacement. I really started having some pain in my hips and the doctor told me it was my sciatic nerve. I'm not having problems with that either now. I'm really not.
So as you can see, this program is an easy and simple plan which will target and balance the underlying hormonal mechanisms of your weight gain. And it will allow you to easily and predictably lose your desired weight every single week. And if all of these ladies plus more could do it, so can you. And with that being said, I have to interject. Now, I think it's clear that you don't want to try and do all of this on your own. Obviously, you could try. You've got a lot of information today, but you'll most likely waste a lot of time, a lot of money, and needless frustration. It would really be like trying to drive across country without a GPS or even any signs on the road of where to go. You may eventually get there, but it's not the journey you'd prefer. And realistically, if you want to succeed at conquering this hormonal weight, you'll need a few things. First off, you'll need more than information alone. Secondly, you'll want help staying accountable. Additionally, you're definitely going to have questions that need an actual answer. And last but certainly not least, you need results. So what should you do? Just take advantage of following a proven system. I've done all the heavy lifting and all the hard work for you. You'll need and want an expert to guide you who's been there before and can take you straight there right now. I'm sure you've heard the old joke, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. Well, I don't play one on TV. I actually am a doctor, and I have 30 years of medical experience under my belt. And for the last 5 years, I've drilled down, honed in, focused on this whole phenomenon of hormonal weight gain and weight loss. I've done all of the research, all of the work for you. Now this slide is key because this is your cheapest pathway to success. The equation is easy. An expert guide, and I'm confident that I'm that expert guide. A proven system, and I know I have a proven system. And those two together, expert guide plus proven system equals the cheapest pathway to success. And that's because money is cheap, but time is expensive. Now, why do I say money is cheap and time is expensive? I say that because when you think about it, if you just have to spend a chunk of money to get you from where you are today to where you want to be, you can bypass all of the time that is involved in trying to do the research yourself, trial and error, go one step forward and 2 steps back. So we have discretionary cash every month. We get a hunk of money, and once we pay the bills and the necessary things that we have to pay for in order to live, light bill, grocery bill, electricity bill, rent and or mortgage, we have money that's left over, and that money that's left over is discretionary cash because we can spend it however we want to on entertainment, movies, Netflix, buying a nice dinner out or a bottle of wine. So that's our discretionary cash, and every month that money is replenished so that we have a chunk of money that we can use according to our discretion for entertainment and life's luxuries. So money is relatively cheap because it's replenished for us every month. But time is not replenished for us every month. Time is expensive because once we spend it, that time is gone forever. So why would we want to waste our precious time trying to reinvent the wheel when we can use our discretionary cash, which we'll get back every single month, and have us leapfrog to our desired results? Now, if you recall earlier in the masterclass, I said that I could help you. I had a gift for you, or what's really an opportunity. And this opportunity will help you get your desired results much faster. And that's this program. I've created this program, the Hormonal Weight Loss Solution. It incorporates the discoveries and all of the breakthroughs I discussed in this masterclass. The hormonal weight loss solution is the easy 4-step method to permanently lose 20 to 25 pounds of hormonal excess weight in as little as 6 weeks. And you know how it goes. It's without calorie counting, point counting, strenuous exercise, popping pills, being hungry, nor feeling deprived and depraved with cravings. And as you've heard, this program works immediately from the very first week, and every single week you're on grid. You're not only losing weight, but you're looking good and feeling even better with whole foods, which naturally provide you the macronutrients to lose the weight, boost your energy and mood, and get healthy. Because as I said earlier, it's getting healthy to lose the weight. Believe me, if they can do it, all the ladies you heard from earlier, you can too. So what exactly is this program? Well, it's an 8-week program during which you should easily lose 20 to 25 pounds of hormonal weight gain in that first 6 weeks on grid. And here's the overview. Week 1, you'll discover your weight loss blind spot. It's the #1 reason why you're stuck. It's probably not what you think. And we'll get you onboarded and familiar with our grid. Week 2 is where you'll actively start the induction phase of this hormonal weight loss solution program. And I expect you to lose between 6 and 9 pounds just after that first 7 days. And this week we focus on mindset and paradigm shift. Week 3, you'll experience increased mental clarity as you'll have an improved cognitive response to the anti-inflammatory changes. Week 4, as your body eliminates toxins and triggers which promote inflammation, you'll experience more energy. Now, week 5, we focus on gut healing and repopulating the intestinal environment, or that microbiome. This optimizes the mind-gut connection, and you'll notice an improved mood. This is due to increased serotonin. In week 6, yes, you'll experience decreased appetite and cravings. We introduce specific foods along with dietary and behavioral strategies to support that hormonal balance for weight loss. Week 7, we practice biofeedback techniques to address hormonal and inflammatory stimuli, and you'll notice decreased joint pain and muscle aches. Week 8 brings along an improved sleep. We incorporate and integrate all 4 pillars of the program, and thus we elevate naturally the concentration of melatonin. Now, when you join the program, you have exclusive access to our online members area. This is where we have weekly informative videos which share the discoveries and knowledge supporting the recommendations of this hormonal method. You'll also have access to manuals, reference guides, and if you enjoy cooking, recipes. We also have activity videos where I show you all the ins and outs of how to implement these 4 pillars of the program. Additionally, you'll be provided with flexible daily meal selections. Here, you simply pick and choose the foods you enjoy eating, which are categorized to target different hormonal objectives depending on your program phase, be it induction, weight reduction, or maintenance. And that's because it's important to me that you don't feel deprived, restricted, or even limited in your food options, and that you're able to enjoy eating out at restaurants or friends' homes without feeling conspicuous. And what this program really does is it gives you a way to look at food differently and make the correct choices for your body, your health, and your lifestyle. Last but certainly not least, and what really sets this program apart and ensures you'll reach your weight loss goal and improve your health is that I virtually hold your hand every step of the way because you get personalized direct feedback from me, Dr. McDaniel, a board-certified obstetrician gynecologist via unlimited cell phone text messaging and email communication. Additionally, if you need a face-to-face chat, you also have the option to schedule a physician mentorship Zoom consult to discuss your wins, questions, and any challenges in order to tweak and tailor every aspect of the program to continually personalize the program to your needs so that you are predictably and reliably losing weight every single week and not only looking great, but feeling even better. So this program is easy, it works, everyone can do it, and in 6 weeks you'll be at least 20 to 25 pounds lighter And every single week after that, you'll lose between 2 and 4 pounds consistently. So just imagine how you'll feel in 6 weeks from today when you jump on the scale and see you're 25 pounds lighter. Let me ask you, how do you think having this plan and level of support would be beneficial to you? Now, you may be asking yourself, can I afford to join? But the price is astronomical. Well, the price isn't astronomical, but the real question is, can you afford not to join? Can you afford to let another month, another year go by, and you still haven't reached the goals that you've set in your heart to be that gorgeous, slim, fit, healthy, and youthful looking woman that you know you absolutely can be? Well, every single woman above who spoke about her experience in this program, depending on the length of time they were active, invested over 5 times more than the offered fee to join today. Yes, every single woman above, their investments to improve their health and shed that excess weight was between $5,000 and $10,000. Now, I'm not asking you to invest $5,000 to $10,000 today. No, it's much, much less. And you may be asking, was it really worth it for them to invest that much? Absolutely, 100% positively, yes, it was worth the investment. They took action, and today they all look great and they're happy with that choice. Well, if you want to lose the belly fat, the muffin top, or those thunder thighs, you want to finally get rid of that baby weight. You want to free yourself from snacking and sugar addiction. You want to feel more confident. And if you want to get it all without counting calories and points, strenuous exercise, popping pills, being hungry, feeling deprived and depraved with cravings, so just click the button below to join the 3% Club. Now, we call ourselves the 3% Club because only 3% of people, men, women, doesn't matter, will maintain a significant weight loss past 5 years. And significant weight loss is 20 to 25 pounds. So that's exactly what you get. You get to join the 3% Club when you join the Hormonal Weight Loss Solution. Now, if you're joining this masterclass from the YouTube or the Facebook, you're not going to see a button below, but you can just type in to your internet the little box. Of course, I always forget what the name of it is, but type in the https://bit.ly/Dr. McDaniel, and you'll be able to access the page where you can join our 3% Club, join the program, pull it together, lose the weight, get your health and get in shape, get your health together, get rid of all the aches and pangs and the feeling old and flabby and older than you really should and looking older than you really should. Join the 3% Club today. Join the program for the Hormonal Weight Loss Solution. I'll be with you every step of the way. Just put the https://bit.ly/Dr. McDaniel into the website page. I'll probably remember what it's called in two more minutes, and you can join the program. So if you're going to take action and get the transformation you've been seeking, the next step is to click that button. When you click the button, this is the page you'll see, the welcome page to register and join the program. You'll want to scroll down the page and fill out the information with your name and billing address. Once that's all completed, you just hit the PayPal button, that's the light blue button, and there you'll be directed to their secure server for your payment via debit or credit card. Now, how do you know this program is really for you? First off, everything I've presented has resonated with you deep inside, and you truly care about your health, and now you understand how your hormones and inflammation, which you suspected were leading to weight gain, actually are. You're tired of being heavy and you want to be comfortable in your body, you want to like the person you see in the mirror, and you're finally ready to say goodbye to the yo-yo dieting and the weight issues in your past. You want to regain your energy, your zest for life. You want to be in control and get back the person that you used to be. You want to actively live your best life now. And last but not least, you're ready to invest in yourself and pay for an expert to get you to your desired goals. So if you meet most of these criteria, you have what it takes to get amazing results with my help. So if you want to see what's been keeping you from becoming the slim, energetic, and active woman of your dreams, if you want to get a customized plan to shed your hormonal weight gain, and if you want to see how working together will get you even better results, then this is for you. Please click the link below or go to tinyurl.com/HMWTLOSS. That's tinyurl.com/hormonal weight loss, or just click the link below and get started today. Now you have two choices. You've watched this entire masterclass, congratulations, and you want to lose the weight. And you know you're simply not getting the results you want on your own. So that's the question. Should you put a price on good health? How can you put a price on longevity? Can you put a price on freedom? And would you put a price on confidence? I think we all know the answers to those questions, so carpe diem. Seize the moment. Take advantage of this opportunity now. Don't let another minute pass you by. Simply click the link below or go to tinyurl.com/HMWTLOSS, tinyurl.com/hormonal weight loss. And let's do this together. Thank you for joining me and have a great rest of your day.